Good evening, everyone. I'm Prabhati, and I'll be your host for this internship program. It's my pleasure to introduce our mentor, Nidhi Sharma, ma'am. She is currently pursuing her master's in forensic science from the National Forensic Science University. She has completed internship at the DFSS Gandhinagar in ballistic and at the Indore Commissionerate in fingerprint analysis and identification. She is also a researcher and has published a paper in forensic toxicology titled Toxic Flora, the Hidden Danger of Nature's Deadly Plant. We are delighted to have a guidance throughout this internship. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Nidhi Sharma, ma'am. Ma'am, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priya, for this introduction, and thank you so much to everyone for joining. So, everyone knows me, and I want to add one more thing. I'm pursuing my MSc in Forensic Science with specialization in Forensic Physics and Ballistics. So, should I start? Did everyone join, Ayush?
Yes, ma'am. You can start the class.
Okay, let me know once my screen is visible to everyone, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, actually, I'm having some issues in showing my screen. If it somehow goes like it is not showing, then please let me know, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, we are starting off with forensic ballistics. So, any of you does knows what is forensic ballistics actually, and like what from which physical branch it is coming off, like हम जब 11th 12th में होते हैं वी डू स्टडी फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री एंड बायोलॉजी सो बेसिकली बैलिस्टिक किसका ब्रांच है डज एनीवन नोज अबाउट दिस
Some physics.
एग्जैक्टली सो ballistics is a branch of forensic physics which deals with firearms and ammunition. I want this session to be interactive, so if anyone knows something please like talk, because I don't want it to be like that I'm the only one talking and no one is answering. It won't be good for me. So okay, what is firearm? Does anyone has any definition of firearm in layman language?
Everyone, please unmute your mic and answer the question.
Yes.
Don't write in chat. You have to speak.
Yes, because I'm not able to go and see in that Google Meet thing. So please.
मैम कोई भी ऐसा वेपन जो कोई प्रोजेक्टाइल जैसे कि बुलेट्स वगैरह है उनको फायर करे.
अच्छा, टेल मी वन थिंग, whoever has answered this, क्या जरूरी है कि हमेशा फायर आर्म्स में से प्रोजेक्टाइल फायर होगा ही? क्या एयर गन नहीं हो सकता एक फायर आर्म?
पर मैम वो डैमेज ज्यादा नहीं देगा ना.
हाँ, बट स्टिल वी यूज्ड टू से एयर गन एज अ फायर आर्म, राइट?
हाँ यस सर.
Okay, so we are starting off with the basic. Ballistic is a field of mechanics and physics which is dedicated to studying the projectiles. Ballistic basically is related to the science of projectile, which are the object which are in motion. Okay, ballistic is derived from a Greek word ballon, which means to throw. If you are a master student, please note this word ballon, because this is a part of UGC NET examination. These types of question are asked in UGC NET examination, and it typically refers to study of launching, flight and impact of objects like bullets or missiles, as well as materials designed to resist them. So ballistics are of three types. If there are people pursuing BSc in forensic science, they are aware of this, that there are three types of ballistics: internal ballistic, external ballistic and terminal or wound ballistics. So can anyone tell me what are the differences between all three ballistics, or first you want me to tell and then you will just answer?
Everyone give answer. If you don't know, you can say no, ma'am, or yes, ma'am.
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. So internal ballistics is what is happening inside the barrel. Okay. What is happening inside the barrel is internal ballistic. Here you can see a diagram I have already given, like that projectile which is in green and yellow, olive and yellow color, that is showing the internal ballistic. The trajectorial path is showing the external ballistic, and then the person who is getting hit, that is showing the wound or terminal ballistic. Like when there is a target which is not a human, so that ballistic will be terminal ballistic, and if there is a human and there will be a wound, that will be wound ballistics. Understood? We'll be going in deep, but right now I'm just telling you there are three types of ballistic: internal, external, terminal, or wound ballistics. These are three types of ballistics which we are like currently studying on. So anyone has any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So here you can see the definition. Forensic ballistic is scientific analysis of firearm, ammunition, and projectile to provide evidences for legal cases, focusing on firearm identification, trajectory, wound analysis, and classifying firearms under complex legislations. Okay. Now there are principles of forensic ballistics. You have already seen these as principles of forensic science, right? Everyone knows about this 7 golden principles of forensic science. Are you guys aware?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Why there is only one person answering? Why others? What are you doing, guys? So, principle of individuality, principle of exchange, law of progressive change, law of probability, law of comparison, and law of analysis, and law of circumstantial facts. Then, this is a chart like for your understanding. I hope you will be getting this PPT after I am done. So, okay. Principle of individuality. We all know, like we have seen this thing in fingerprint, that every person, every individual have different fingerprint. No two people will have a same fingerprint. It is same in cases of like in this case of ballistic. Here no two bullets, even if they are going from the same barrel, they will not get the same striation marks. And why is it so? Does anyone knows about this? There is a science behind every different mark. There is a science behind every different striation. So first we are reading the definition. Every object, whether it's natural or man-made, carries some unique characteristics which differs them from each other. So it is very crucial in bullet and barrel matching. When a bullet travels from a barrel, it gets marks. These are unique because during the manufacturing, some imperfections are left in the barrel, which leaves specific marks on the bullet. It shows the individuality of the barrel and confirms that the bullet is fired from that barrel only. But is it the only case where you will be getting different kind of striations? Does anyone know that in which cases we do get different kind of striation marks? If anyone knows, please answer.
Sorry for interruption, ma'am.
Yes.
There is some issue regarding your screen visibility. Some students are telling about this. So can you
Like
check this?
my screen visibility?
Yes, ma'am. Do you change your slide?
No, I haven't done anything. I'm just here only.
Okay,
Is it
fine.
visible now? Are you able
It
to
can,
see it?
yes, ma'am. It can be a network issue from the student side. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
I'm sorry
You can
if there is
continue.
some interruption. I'm not even able to read your chats, guys. So if
It's
there
okay,
are
ma'am.
some issues, please open your mic and speak. I will be okay with that.
Okay, you can continue, ma'am.
So does anyone knows that after like we are talking about principle of individuality in manufacturer context. But in which natural context will we get different kind of striation marks? Does anyone knows about this? If yes,
Ma'am, if we use different weapons, different firearms, then we can get different type of styration.
yeah, but I'm talking about like the same firearm. We are having the same firearm, and from that same firearm, we are getting different styration. Why is it so? Can we say
No
there
idea,
can
ma'am.
be? Okay, it's okay. Can we say that there can be the pressure of gas? It can be a factor in this. Can we say that? If you guys are aware, there is a process when we fire a when we fire a projectile out of the barrel, there is a gunpowder which we call as propellant or powder charge. That powder charge, if you guys know the what we say, uska amount, the amount of that propellant charge makes a huge difference. अगर वो कम है, if it is less, then your projectile won't go out of the barrel. If it is more, then your projectile might maybe it will backfire you. So that's the thing. So the same thing can affect the styration marks. Do you all know this? Know about this? Are you guys aware of this? That there are several factors which are producing styration marks after every firing process. The bullet, the barrel of the firearm, it gets washed out. Are you guys aware?
No, ma'am.
So okay, have you seen that after a certain time, after a certain amount of period, the firearms barrel, it gets rust, it gets that caking effect. If you have read it, the B.R. Sharma book, you will be aware that there is a washing effect from which जो barrel होता है. Are you guys comfortable in Hindi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
सो जो फायरआर्म का बैरल होता है, वो बैरल में से आप कॉन्स्टेंटली फायर करते हो, बहुत सारा फायर आपने एक बार में किया, तो उसका जो बैरल होता है, उस बैरल में जो रस्ट लगती है, रस्ट तो ठीक है, बट वो बैरल अंदर से खुद भी तो जलेगा, उसका भी तो मेटल डिग्रेड होता है ना. सो दैट प्रोड्यूसेस डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ स्टाइरेशन मार्क्स, and those styration marks are visible. So you will be seeing those differences even if you are comparing same firearm ka bullet with abhi maine fire kiya, and after 2 days I have fired with the same firearm. There will be very minute but differences in that. So under comparison microscope you will be able to see those differences. Okay, so this is principle of individuality. Every firearm barrel leaves different markings, different styration marks. Has anyone done any internship in forensic ballistic division? They might be aware of that comparison microscope. No one has done that.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I guess you are not able to see my PPT. I'm teaching from this PPT actually. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
principle of individuality which I taught you right now. And then comes principle of exchange. This principle says that every contact leaves a trace. Who gave this principle?
Edmund Locard.
Edwin
Locard.
Okay. So was the father of criminalistics Hans Gross or Edmund Locard? Question from UGC NET.
Edmund Locard.
Father of criminalistics, I am asking.
Ma'am, Hans Gross.
Hans Gross, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Edmund Locard is the father of modern forensic science and principle of exchange, but the father of criminalistics is Hans Gross. Okay, so principle of exchange says that every contact leaves a trace. That is whenever two objects comes in contact with each other, there will be a mutual transfer of material. Okay, when a firearm is fired, the projectile leaves the barrel, and just because of the expansion, GSR is transferred on the shooter's hand and on the victim's clothes. Does anyone has any other example of this thing? Principle of exchange in cases of ballistics. Very basic thing is getting transferred. Very basic evidence. No one knows
Give answer, everyone.
what?
Maybe the GSR particles.
GSR, I already gave that example of GSR, but there are other things like bullet is getting transferred from a firearm. I already gave you answer. Bullet is getting transferred from a firearm barrel.
Ma'am, if it is the rifled, then we will get the marks.
What? Your voice is breaking.
Ma'am, if it is the rifled one,
Yes.
then we will get the rifled marks like on the bullet.
Yeah, that that rifling marks, those are made up of lines and grooves, but there are two types, right? Smooth bore and rifled bores. You will get rifling marks, but the basic
Yes, ma'am.
evidence you will be getting is the bullet. I'm asking about the layman, like very basic, and that is the bullet. Firearm bullet se जा रहा है, निकल रहा है ना, so bullet you will be getting. And the most, like, you know the very most important evidence is GSR in this. That's what we are using in order to know if the firearm is already like fired or not fired. So basic evidence is bullet. From a firearm, the bullet is going out. Styrations and all these are comparative evidences, right? But when you are going on a crime scene, you will be seeing that there might be a firearm from which the bullet was fired. You have received the bullet, but now you have to find the firearm. So bullet is also an example of principle of exchange. Who agrees on this, and who want to contradict this statement? No one. No one has any doubt in this.
Give answer in yes or no, ma'am. Please.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes the law of progressive change. These laws says everything changes with the passage of time, which is the evidence, crime scene, object, and people. They don't stay same all the time. Like in case of ballistic, it is change in gun's barrel. That's what I told you before. After a certain time, a gun's barrel start to corrode or rusting. Process starts inside it. Over time, because of the heat problems, the washing effects is seen in the barrel diameter starts increase. This might be an issue in personal identification of firearm. Okay. Rather than this, we can keep GSR as an example. Can we keep GSR as an example?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So does anyone knows the science behind it? How GSR will get changed in progressive change? Should I tell?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
जो मेटल होता है अंदर से वो चढ़ता है विथ लाइक हाउ दैट फायरआर्म इज फायर्ड, उस पे वेयर एंड टियर मार्क्स भी आते हैं. सो दीज आर द टाइप्स ऑफ progressive change we will be seeing in forensic ballistics. Then comes law of probability. In forensic science you will be never saying that this has happened. आप लोग अगर बीएससी कर रहे हैं तो आपके टीचर्स ने आपको जरूर बताया होगा कि आप कभी भी क्राइम सीन इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर दिया है तो भी आप 100% गारंटी लेके कभी नहीं बोलेंगे कि ये चीज ऐसी हुई ही है. यू विल बी सेइंग देयर माइट बी प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट दिस हैज हैपेंड, राइट?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Conclusions you will never give. This thing has said to me by a very professional person, which is Dr. Manish Malhotra, obviously scientist B in CFSL Bhopal. He has told me that you will never be saying that this thing is 100% certain. Even in the reports of FSL, you will never be saying, they will be writing that 100% this is the case. Okay. So law of probability says that occurrence of an event is governed by the probability. Nothing in forensics is 100% certain. Conclusions are based on how likely it is for something to happen by chance. Like there are two guns of same make and model will have similar class characteristics, but their individual characteristics and their styration marks will differ. So the probability of which gun is fired and which bullet is passed is certain. Like there are two guns of same make and model, so there are types of cases in which you will be you will be going to get two types of Priya, see, literally say two evidences. I do have those.
It's like a local gun.
वो कोई स्टैंडर्ड फायर आर्म नहीं है, हम उसे कहीं से खरीद नहीं रहे, कोई मैन्युफैक्चरर उसे मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं कर रहा है. मतलब कोई मैन्युफैक्चर अगर उसे मैन्युफैक्चर कर भी रहा है तो इट इज कंट्री मेड, आर कंट्री मेड. So that is a country made firearm. We got two kattas, those were completely similar, but we were not able to tell that yes, this bullet belongs to this katta because both have different kind of styration. जरूरी तो नहीं है कि दो कट्टा थे तो दोनों एक जितना ही चले होंगे. There might be difference in their wear and tear, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is law of probability. You will never be saying 100% in anything. Then comes law of comparison. Then this principle says that only likes should be compared with likes. तुम्हारे पास हेयर एविडेंस है, ठीक है, तुम उस हेयर एविडेंसेस को ले जा करके फायर आर्म से कंपेयर करोगे. तुम्हारे पास फिंगरप्रिंट है, क्या तुम उसे फायर आर्म से कंपेयर करोगे?
No, ma'am.
अब सिमिलरली तुम्हारे पास राइफल्ड फायर आर्म की बुलेट है, क्या तुम उसे स्मूथ बोर से कंपेयर कर सकते हो?
No, ma'am.
No,
No, ma'am.
किसी लड़की के लुक्स को किसी लड़के के लुक से कंपेयर करेंगे? No, because
No.
they are not alike, they are not similar. So this principle says that only likes should be compared with likes. This principle applies that likes should be compared with likes under measurable parameters. Okay, मतलब measurable parameters समझ रहे हो अगर तुम, तो हम 9 mm कैलिबर वाली बुलेट को 7.65 mm वाली कैलिबर से कभी कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे. हम कभी भी मार्क्स एंड विल्सन की बुलेट को भी 7.65 mm कैलिबर की मार्क्स एंड विल्सन से कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे. तो इसका एग्जाम्पल वी हैव दैट अ फायरिंग पिन मार्क शुड बी कंपेयर्ड विद फायरिंग पिन मार्क ओनली, नॉट विद द ब्रीच फेस मार्क्स. Till here, everything is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes law of analysis. The analysis can be no better than the sample analyzed if the evidence sample is complete and contaminated. So, okay. The first statement, if you guys are understanding, it is saying that the analysis can know better. Analysis कभी भी जो sample हमारे पास है उससे better कभी भी analysis नहीं हो सकता है. मतलब sample will always be better than the analysis. Okay. So if the evidence sample is complete and uncontaminated, the analysis is likely to be accurate and reliable. If you are getting damaged, contaminated, degraded, or poorly collected sample, the analysis may be inaccurate, incomplete, or impossible. For example, a bullet recovered from the crime scene must be collected and preserved without damaging its rifling and striation marks. If these marks are intact, identification will be accurate. If any damage, then identification and analysis is inaccurate. Okay. This question has came in UGC NET June 2026. That from which tool you will be collecting your bullet, and there were options: spatula, metal forceps, plastic forceps, and all of the above. What do you think will be the correct answer of this?
Plastic.
Yes.
Metal forceps.
How will you be doing it with metal forceps? Bullet is also metal, and metal forceps, won't it be leaving some kind of marks on the bullet? With metal forceps, and like if the metal forceps has a covering of rubber grip, you can do it, but only with metal forceps you won't. Plastic forceps is the most reliable tool these days we can use. So here it is saying that you should be collecting the bullet and preserving it without damaging its rifling and striation marks. Have you seen that the bullet is kept in cotton? Do you guys know that the bullet is kept in cotton while it is getting transferred from crime scene to laboratory? You know it or not?
No, ma'am.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Okay. So, did you guys heard about the test firing thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when we are test firing a bullet, okay, हम लोग कभी भी किसी ऐसे में नहीं करते हैं. हम कभी भी मेटल में कर रहे हैं क्या टेस्ट फायरिंग? They are doing it in either in cotton, either in water. Why? Why is it so? Can anyone tell
But
me?
we can get the marks.
Yes, then like that, those marks will be preserved. If it is going in cotton, cotton खुद से तो बुलेट पे कोई marks नहीं छोड़ेगा ना. And if it is going in water, water भी उसमें कोई marks अलग से marks नहीं देगा bullet पे. So marks will be preserved. That's why we are using these two things as a for test firing. Okay. Till here everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now comes law of circumstantial facts. This law states that facts do not lie, but interpretation may be incorrect. किस केस में हुआ था interpretation गलत? If someone knows.
Everyone give answer.
Should I give you an example of a case, real life case, which I have heard? Like, I am from Madhya Pradesh, and there was a case here. If there are people from Madhya Pradesh, they would be aware about this. There are things like there was a soldier. He was on a pahadi and he was firing his he was not pahadi, but he was like standing on a pahadi, और वहां से he fired his firearm in the air. And there was a house पहाड़ी के नीचे जिसमें फीमेल को जाके स्कल के अंदर से बुलेट पास कर गई. And there was no one in that female's house सो एवरीवन जस्ट क्वेश्चन अबाउट कि हाँ इसके हस्बैंड ने ही ये सब किया है, क्योंकि सिर्फ हस्बैंड वहां था। तो इधर तुम लोग देख रहे हो कि इंटरप्रिटेशन गलत है। हस्बैंड के पास गन नहीं था, हस्बैंड के साथ में, हस्बैंड के हाथ में जेएसआर नहीं था, हस्बैंड के पास बुलेट नहीं था, उसके बाद भी इल्जाम किसके ऊपर आया? हस्बैंड के ऊपर। तो इंटरप्रेट ही गलत किया। वो केस पूरे 3.5 महीने के बाद सॉल्व हुआ कि देयर वाज अ सोल्जर हु वाज लाइक फायरिंग, टेस्ट फायरिंग, और उसे पता नहीं था कि वो बुलेट लौट करके आएगी, बिकॉज देयर इज अ थिंग विच इज नोन एज विंड फ्लो, जिसकी वजह से बुलेट लौट करके भी आती है। इसीलिए जो अगर किसी को पता हो तो कुछ शादियों में ऐसे कट्टा चलाते हैं। किसी ने देखा है कट्टा
Yes,
चलते
ma'am.
हुए? अगर किसी ने महाकाल का सवारी देखा, उसमें भी कट्टा
Yes,
चलाते हैं।
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
एंड दैट्स नॉट लीगल। वो सब चीजें लीगल बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, क्योंकि विंड फ्लो की वजह से, विंड रेजिस्टेंस की वजह से बुलेट फिर से लौट के आ सकता है और किसी को लग भी सकता है। तो अगर ऐसी शादियां आपने देखी हो जिसमें कि बुलेट वगैरह फायर हुई हो या कुछ भी हुआ हो, या तो बहुत बड़े लोग हैं, या तो उनमें बहुत निकलने का पावर है कि हम जेल से निकल जाएंगे, या तो वो उनके ऊपर धाराएं लगी हैं आर्म्स एक्ट की और वो अंदर बंद होंगे, या तो विधायक होंगे। बस इन 3 केसेस में ही आप देखेंगे कि भाई बुलेट चल रही है सरेआम बहुत ही अच्छे से। बाकी विंड डिफ्लेक्शन की वजह से, विंड फ्लो की वजह से बुलेट रिटर्न भी आती है। तो ये इस केस में, जो केस मैंने आपको बताया उसमें आप देख सकते हैं कि इंटरप्रिटेशन गलत था। ठीक है। इट मीन्स circumstantial facts are indirect pieces of evidence that help establish the chain of events or connect a suspect to the crime, but it is not a guarantee. The facts themselves are objective, but different interpretations of those facts may lead to different kind of conclusions. So the presence of suspect's fingerprints on firearm is factual observation. मान लीजिए कि there are two types of people, there are two peoples with me. There is a person named A and there is a person named B with me. ठीक है। ये क्रिमिनल कंस्पिरेसी अगर कोई जानता हो तो उसे भी तुम उस डायरेक्शन में भी लेके इस चीज को सोच सकते हो। मैंने फायरआर्म को फायर किया, ठीक है। ए और बी बस खड़े हुए थे, उन्होंने कुछ भी नहीं किया। दे डिडंट इवन टच दैट फायरआर्म, दे आर नॉट इवन रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट डेथ। और मैंने तो फायरआर्म चलाते टाइम मैंने फायरआर्म चला दिया और उसके बाद में मैंने मेरा जो फायरआर्म है वो मैंने बी के हाथ में पकड़ा दिया। अब जब पुलिस आई, बी वहीं खड़ा हुआ फायरआर्म हाथ में लेके सोच रहा है कि उसके साथ हुआ क्या। मैंने तो मार दिया और मैं तो भाग गई वहां से। अब मैंने जिस बी को फायरआर्म पकड़ा दिया है वो बी वहीं सोचता हुआ खड़ा है, इतनी देर में पुलिस आ गई। तो क्या इंटरप्रेट कर पाओगे? पुलिस का सबसे पहला शक किसके ऊपर जाएगा? बी कितना ही कह ले कि मैंने नहीं मारा है, मैंने नहीं मारा है, मैंने नहीं मारा है, पुलिस मान लेगी?
No, ma'am.
ठीक है। तो ऐसे ही होता है। प्राइमा फेसी एवरीवन नोज अबाउट प्राइमा फेसी?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am.
प्राइमा
No, ma'am.
फेसी समथिंग जो हम फर्स्ट फेस, मतलब हम जब क्राइम सीन पे पहुंचे, सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का क्राइम सीन आप देख लो, हमने एक डेड बॉडी देखी लटकी हुई थी, दैट्स इट। वी डोंट नो वो मर्डर है, सुसाइड है, क्या है, बट प्राइमा फेसी हमें क्या देखी? एक डेड बॉडी थी। तो वी डिड थॉट इट इज अ लाइक सुसाइड, क्योंकि हमें आसपास कोई नहीं दिखा। तो अब मैंने जो केस बताया उसकी प्राइमा फेसी तुम्हें कैसे दिख रही है? प्राइमा फेसी मीन्स फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन। ओके, बहुत ही लेमन लैंग्वेज में अगर मैं तुम्हें समझाऊं तो दैट्स फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन ऑफ द क्राइम सीन। प्राइमा फेसी में हमने क्या देखा कि हाँ, अब क्राइम सीन था, वहां पे बी फायरआर्म लेके खड़ा था, तो वो बी ही है जिसने विक्टिम को शूट किया है। ठीक है। उस टाइम पे फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट, जब तक बी इनोसेंट प्रूव नहीं हो जाता कि बी ने ये कांड नहीं किया है, तब तक पुलिस किसी और को ढूंढने के बारे में नहीं सोचेगी, जब तक वो बी के हाथ से हैंड ऑफ लाइक वेब ऑफ द हैंड पर से जीएसआर ना टेस्ट कर ले, उसके म्यूकोसस से जीएसआर ना टेस्ट कर ले, उस बी से सब कुछ सच ना उगलवा ले, पॉलीग्राफ टेस्ट भी उसके ऊपर लगा देंगे, उसके ऊपर सीसीटीवी लाइक जो सीसीटीवी कैमरा है उसकी रिकॉर्डिंग निकालेंगे कि ये डेथ के बाद आया, डेथ के पहले आया, कब आया, क्या हुआ। सो आर यू गाइस अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि ये होता है, इंटरप्रिटेशन हमारे ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, राइट? So the presence of suspect's fingerprints on a firearm is factual observation. However, this alone does not prove that the suspect fired the weapon during the crime. It only proves that suspect handled the firearm at some time. Other evidences are required to establish involvement in shooting. And these other evidences which I am talking about is GSR. अभी जिस बी के हाथ में फायर आर्म है उस बी को अच्छे से शूट करना आता भी है कि नहीं, वो देखने वाली बात होगी. Is everything clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
नहीं समझ आ रहा है तो बोलो, ऐसे मुंह लटका के यस मैम मत बोलो. मैं भी स्टूडेंट ही हूँ तो मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है तुम लोगों को समझाने में. सो फायरआर्म क्या होता है? बेसिकली फायरआर्म इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट or device which is used to propel a projectile by the means of expansive force of gases in primitive and modern firearms utilizing powder charge. आज के बाद कभी भी फायरआर्म की डेफिनेशन लिखो तो ये डेफिनेशन लिखना, उसमें प्रिमिटिव और मॉडर्न फायरआर्म्स क्लियर करना और एयर गन्स के लिए अलग से लिखना कि एयर गन्स में पाउडर का या गैसेस का एक्सपांसिव फोर्स नहीं होता है, एयर गन में एयर का एक्सपांसिव फोर्स होता है जिसकी वजह विच इज यूज्ड फॉर प्रोपल्शन, जिसकी वजह से जो फायर आर्म है वो प्रोपेल होता है. ओके A firearm is a device used to propel a projectile using the energy stored in the form of chemical or compression of material, usually utilizing power from ammunition. अभी कोई मुझे बता सकता है कि how a firearm is utilizing energy in form of chemical? फायरआर्म के अंदर केमिस्ट्री भी होती है. अगर तुम्हें बैलिस्टिक लेना है तो तुम्हें केमिस्ट्री भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा. बताओ कैसे? Anyone knows?
Give answer, please.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
ओके फायरआर्म के अंदर जो प्रोपेलेंट्स होते हैं वो क्या होते हैं?
Gunpowder.
गन
Gunpowder.
पाउडर तो होता है, वो तो मुझे भी पता है, बट वो प्रोपेलेंट क्या होते हैं? लाइक व्हाट आर दोस प्रोपेलेंट्स? आरंट दे एक्सप्लोसिव्स? लीड स्टेफनेट,
Yes, ma'am.
lead azide. So a firearm is a device used to propel a projectile using the energy stored in the form of, we are saying, chemical. So ये chemicals क्या है? Explosive, right? Compression of materials. Firing pin जो है वो strike करेगी तो compress भी तो हो रहा है ना material. Usually utilizing power of ammunition. A firearm is composed of 3 components via stock, lock and barrel. Lock, stock and barrel. Lock पता है? स्टॉक जिससे हम होल्ड करते हैं. लॉक सबको पता है ना? लॉक क्या होता है फायरआर्म का? या फिर दिखाना पड़ेगा फोटो में? बोलो जल्दी, लॉक किसको पता है? क्या होता है फायरआर्म का लॉक?
Give answer, please.
तुम लोग में कोई एक्साइटमेंट क्यों नहीं है बैलिस्टिक पढ़ने का? इतने युद्ध चल रहे हैं ईरान में, इसराइल.
If you don't know, you can say no, ma'am. There is no problem.
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. So lock is a system that seals the barrel safely when the round is fired. Okay. Stock is the place from where you hold the firearm. Then comes barrel, where barrel is that pipe kind of structure from where the projectile is going out of the barrel. Okay, we used to say that projectile is propelled from the barrel, right? So the projectile is getting discharged from the barrel. That part is known as barrel. Lock is different, stock is different. Stock from where you hold it, and lock is where everything is sealed. Then comes classification of firearms, very important on the basis of bore, smooth bore and rifled bore. So in smooth bore, the cross section of the barrel at any point makes a perfect circle. And in rifled bore, it has presence of lens, raised surfaces and grooves which are steeper surfaces in the barrel and providing gyratory motion, stability and maintaining the velocity and flattening of the trajectory. You can see it here. This is a shotgun's barrel which is smooth bore. And why like rifled firearms are mostly used because they have that gyratory motion, they have that velocity, and from that you can like बहुत ही अच्छे से हम टारगेट पे फायर कर पाते हैं विद राइफल्ड बोर्ड फायरआर्म. Okay, then comes on the basis of loading, muzzle loaders, breech loaders and magazine loading. From muzzle loader, like the ammunition is loaded from the muzzle end of the barrel. Example, flintlock musket. Breech loader, the ammunition are introduced from the breech end or rear end of the barrel. Then comes magazine loading. The ammunition are present in the magazine of the firearm. Let me show you a diagram. This is the muzzle end. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the muzzle end of a firearm. If you all know that the primitive firearm, which is hand cannon, it was like getting loaded from this muzzle end. Also, the matchlock firearm was getting loaded from this muzzle end. This is the muzzle end of the firearm. इससे हम firearm को fill करते हैं. And from breech, this is the breech end of a firearm. एंड मैगजीन एक एक्स्ट्रा एसेसरी होती है जो हम इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं फायरआर्म के अंदर. ओके, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फायरिंग there are two types of firearm, single shot and repeaters. Single shot mean this type of firearm, it shots one round of ammunition and it needs to be reloaded after each shot. You can give an example like single shot rifle or पंप एक्शन फायरआर्म देखा है किसी ने?
Yes, ma'am.
उसे बार बार ऐसे प्रेस करके like one round is fired, then you have to pull it back and then you have to fire the another round.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you can like it is single shot. Then comes repeater. This type of firearm shots multiple round of ammunition before reloading. Revolver में 4 to 7 ammunition holder होते हैं. In that you can like keep the ammunition, and after each like once you like reloaded it will fire at least 4 round and maximum 7 rounds. And then if you know that there are machine guns, actually in repeaters we can also keep those machine guns because once you fill it, फिर जब तक cartridges जाती नहीं है, it is like firing and firing. So those are also repeaters. And single shot, if you know, after each round you have to either pump it or either you have to reload it. Then comes handgun. It can be handled single-handedly, which is pistol. Then comes shoulder gun. It requires shoulder support for holding and firing. It is generally in large sizes. This is shoulder gun. You also have that stock kind of accessory, if you guys know, कि काफी सारी जो मशीन गन्स होती हैं उसे हम एक स्टॉक पे रख करके चलाते हैं. So handgun is handled single-handedly, and then comes shoulder gun. It requires shoulder support for holding and firing. It is generally larger in size, like AK-47. Do you guys have another example for this shoulder gun? बताओ.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you guys heard about German rifle? Have you heard about carbines?
Answer everyone.
Feels like no one watches news. No one knows about there is a war going between America and Iran. You guys haven't heard about carbines. You haven't heard about German rifles. There is AK-74 also. Kalashnikov. No one has heard about these Indian rifles. AK-74 also, and also Kalashnikov. I'm asking about Kalashnikov especially. सुना है?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the basis of action mechanism, here comes bolt action, which is loading and unloading operation are carried out through a strong steel bolt with a knob. Does anyone knows how this bolt looks like?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
देखा है ना मतलब सबने?
Yes, ma'am.
बताओ कैसा होता है और किस मूवी में था बोल्ट एक्शन? किस मूवी में देखा है तुम लोगों ने?
Slide.
गदर मूवी देखा है किसी ने?
Hmm.
No, ma'am. But I know about the bolt action. It will have one bolt, so we can lock it and unlock it.
Yes. So it is in .303 rifles. Then comes lever action. Lever, it is present below the trigger. When it is moved, it extracts the fired cartridge and cocks the rifle. This is in Winchester Model 94. Then comes pump action, in which we are sliding the action. Okay. Question from UGC NET 2024. Which action is also called as pump action? And there was example of this trombone action. Okay, there was this option of this trombone action. So pump action is also known as slide action and trombone action. Slide action is pretty layman, but trombone action is main. So write it down. The slider is pushed backward and then released in order to load the firearm, and this is present in pistols. Then comes semi-automatic action. In this action, loaded firearm needs to be cocked before shooting the another shot. So, can anyone give me an example of a semi-automatic kind of firearm? Anyone?
Glock
Did you win?
19.
What?
Glock 19.
कर लिया chat GPT?
Oh, ma'am. No, ma'am. I just remember.
Okay. Do you also know about Remington? Remington model 1100?
Yes, ma'am. Shotgun.
So these are semi-automatic action firearms. On the basis of action mechanism, there are two more, which is automatic action. In this, once a firearm is loaded, it can fire multiple shots without needing to be cocked again. जैसे कि मैंने अभी आप लोग को बताया कि मशीन गन्स होती हैं, उनमें आप जब तक जितनी कार्ट्रिजेस है जब तक वो पूरी नहीं खत्म हो जाती, you don't even need to cock it again and it will fire like multiple rounds at once just after cocking it once. So इसका कोई एग्जांपल दे सकता है मुझे?
M4 carbine type की.
I'm not able to hear you properly.
M4 carbine.
M4 carbine. Have you heard about M249 squad automatic weapon?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you heard about M4A1?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you heard about AK-47?
Yes, ma'am.
So AK-47 is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
very
Oh,
basic example of this. And this can be asked in your UGC NET exam. Give us an example of automatic action firearm. And they will be giving you like, have you heard about Hecklers and Koch? Like I have heard it right now only, some days ago. Have you heard about that Hecklers and Koch?
No, ma'am.
These are like submachine guns. I've heard about it in news. I thought you guys will be aware about that. But okay, AK-47 हम automatic action में रखते हैं. Then comes gas operated. When cartridge is fired through high pressure, gases propel the bullet down the barrel. A portion of these gases is diverted through small gas port in the barrel to operate firearms action. इसका कोई एग्जाम्पल दे सकता है? एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल. मैंने तो मशीन गन्स लिखा है बिकॉज आई वांट टू नो एग्जाम्पल्स फ्रॉम यू.
तो अगर मशीन गन्स लिखा है तो वही M249.
मुझे एक बात बताओ, इसमें एक और गन आ सकती है जिसके बारे में मैंने ऊपर पढ़ा था डेफिनेशन के टाइम पे. जल्दी बताओ.
कट्टा.
एयर गन आ सकती है इसमें?
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम.
जो एयर गन होती है उसमें कौन सी गैस यूज होती है?
कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड शायद. नहीं मैम.
सही बोल रहा है जो बोल रहे हैं, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. तो गैस ऑपरेटेड का मैकेनिज्म समझ आया? जल्दी बोलो, गैस ऑपरेटेड का मैकेनिज्म
Yes,
समझ
ma'am.
आया?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not very easy. Okay. And these are the types of firearms: rifle, revolver, pistol and machine guns. अभी तुम लोग को मुझे इतना बताओ कि टाइप्स ऑफ फायरआर्म्स पहले पढ़ना है या फिर फायरआर्म का हिस्ट्री पहले पढ़ना है? बिकॉज अगर तुम हिस्ट्री पढ़ोगे तो यू विल बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट इन अ बेटर वे. तो मैं पहले हिस्ट्री से स्टार्ट करूं?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
स्क्रीन इज विजिबल ना?
यस मैम.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
ओके. देखो, सबसे पहले चाइनीज ने गन पाउडर इन्वेंट किया. देन आफ्टर जो फर्स्ट एडवांसमेंट आया था, इट वाज दैट हैंड कैनन. दिस इज हैंड कैनन. ओके, इधर इसका थोड़ा बहुत हिस्ट्री दिया हुआ है. यू विल बी लाइक लर्निंग अबाउट दिस. इसमें क्या होता है कि सबसे पहले इन दिस टाइप ऑफ फायर आर्म, इन दिस हैंड कैनन, सबसे पहले क्या जाता होगा बताओ? लाइक वी आर
Powder.
लोडिंग इट फ्रॉम मजल, ये तो श्योर है. ठीक है, वी आर लोडिंग इट फ्रॉम द मजल एंड. सबसे नीचे जैसे हमने देखा है फायर आर्म में कैसे होता है, प्राइमर, प्रोपेलेंट, प्रोजेक्टाइल. ऐसे ही होता है. सबसे नीचे प्राइमर, उसके ऊपर प्रोपेलेंट, उसके ऊपर वॉर्ड, या फिर वॉर्ड नहीं है, प्रोजेक्टाइल डायरेक्टली. ठीक है, तो अभी मुझे ये बताओ कि इस टाइप के फायर आर्म में सबसे नीचे क्या जाता होगा?
गन पाउडर.
ओके, फिर
देन वो प्रोजेक्टाइल.
ओके, मैं बताती हूँ. सबसे पहले वी आर लोडिंग इट फ्रॉम द मजल एंड ऑफ द बैरल. इन दिस फर्स्ट गोज पाउडर, गन पाउडर, प्रोपेलेंट चार्ज. देन कम्स वॉर्ड, देन गोज बॉल. वाई? पाउडर के बाद में वॉर्ड क्यों लगा रहे हैं हम? वॉर्ड का क्या फंक्शन होता है मुझे ये बता दो. Can anyone tell me?
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. First, it separates the propellant from the shot. Okay, and then it seals. There is a expansive force because of the powder charge. So it seals the expanding gases which is behind the projectile. And why is it so? एक्सपांशन होगा तो उसकी वजह से बैकफायर भी तो हो सकता है ना। तो वॉट जब उस गैसेस को सील करता है तो वो धीरे धीरे खसक के आगे की डायरेक्शन में जाता है फ्रॉम द बैरल ओनली। जो प्रोजेक्टाइल होगा वो फायर होगा। ठीक है, किसी ने हैंड कैनन का वर्किंग वीडियो कभी देखा है? किसी को इतना क्यूरियोसिटी हुआ है कि हैंड कैनन एग्जैक्टली वर्क कैसे करता था? हम यूट्यूब पे वीडियो देखते हैं, किया है किसी ने ऐसा कुछ?
No.
नहीं किया? ओके, चलो हम ये मेरे बैचलर के टाइम का पीपीटी है। आई वाज यूज्ड टू स्टडी फ्रॉम दिस। ये मैचलॉक है, ठीक है, ये मैचलॉक है, बट इसमें से ये पर्सन को हटा दो, ये मैच को हटा दो, हम नहीं जला रहे हैं यहाँ से। ठीक है, हैंड कैनन। तो ये हैंड कैनन को ये फायर कैसे करेगा? ये मैच हटा देते हैं हम यहाँ से। ये तो मैच लॉक सिस्टम हो गया, हम तो हैंड कैनन की बात कर रहे हैं ना। तो ये एक्सपांशन, प्रोपेलेंट के एक्सपांशन के लिए उसे इतना व्हाट वी यूज्ड टू से कि एक चिंगारी चाहिए होती है आग लगाने के लिए। ठीक है, तो ये उसको चिंगारी कैसे देगा? उस प्रोपेलेंट चार्ज को ये चिंगारी कैसे देगा? Here it is written that there is a small hole at the breech end of the barrel. The touch hole was provided with a pan into which a priming charge of powder was placed. On igniting this priming charge either with hot iron or lighted match. Lighted match से अगर हम कर रहे हैं तो ये कौन से टाइप का फायर आर्म हो गया? जल्दी बताओ। No one knows. अगर हम लाइटेड मैच का यूज कर रहे हैं फॉर द इग्निशन ऑफ द प्राइमिंग चार्ज, सो दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रोसीजर विल टेक इट टू एन अनदर लेवल। और एक ये डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फायर आर्म हो जाएगा, ये प्रिमिटिव फायर आर्म का पार्ट हो जाएगा। इसे मैच लॉक फायर आर्म बोल देंगे हम, क्योंकि हम लाइटेड मैच का यूज कर रहे हैं। फायर फ्लैश थ्रू द टच होल एंड इनटू द मेन पाउडर चार्ज टू डिस्चार्ज द वेपन। इसके जस्ट बाद आता है हमारा मैच लॉक। ये देख लो, इस टाइप का फायर आर्म लेबोरेटरीज में भी, if you have worked in DFS Gandhinagar, if you belong from Gujarat and willing to do your internship from DFS Gandhinagar, this is the most abundant kind of evidence which is present there. ये तुम्हें मिलेगा ही मिलेगा। दिन के 4 केस भी तुम मैच लॉक के खरीदोगे, फिर भी मैच लॉक फायर आर्म वहाँ खत्म नहीं होते। So this is match lock firearm. In this there is this piece of cord. When it goes like it is here, when it goes like this, when trigger is pressed, तो ये जो है हैमर, ये इस मैच को लेके नीचे जाता है। Here it is a touch hole. From here it ignites the priming charge and then propellant and then the expansion of gases, and then it propels the projectile out of the barrel. This was really the first major advance in pistol, as it enabled weapon to be fired in one hand and also gave some opportunity to aim it as well. The construction of matchlock was exactly same as hand cannons, जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया। The difference was a slow burning piece of cord, and this slow burning piece of cord used to ignite the priming charge was held in a curved hook screwed to side of the frame. जिसे मैं हैमर बोल रही थी उसे कर्व्ड हुक स्क्रूड कहा गया है, एंड इट इज लाइक दिस। ओके, So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then why we dropped the idea of this match lock? Because there are pros कि भाई first trigger you can fire it. Then there are cons. मान लीजिए कि रस्सी जो है बारिश हो गया when we used to fire when we want to fire it, when we are like trying to fire it, और बारिश हो गया या बहुत हवा चल रही है, रस्सी जली ही नहीं, तो तुम प्राइमिंग चार्ज को कैसे इग्नाइट करोगे, राइट? क्योंकि इसमें तो हम एक आउटर चीज दे रहे हैं ना, ये रस्सी दे रहे हैं हम तो जलाने के लिए, बारिश हो गया, रस्सी भीग गया, अब मैं कैसे फायर करूं? सो दैट्स व्हाई हमने इस आइडिया को ड्रॉप किया. देन कम्स व्हील. इसमें व्हील लॉक, इसमें एक सिरेटेड स्टील व्हील का यूज हुआ था. ये इस टाइप का फायर आर्म था, बट ट्रस्ट मी इट इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव एंड आई नेवर सॉ this firearm in my life. I have seen flintlock, I have seen Springfield, but I have never seen matchlock till now. So here in wheel lock, there is a serrated steel wheel mounted on the side of the weapon at the rear of the barrel. The wheel was spring-loaded via chain. Round its axle with a small key or spanner similar to watch drum. When the wheel was turned with a spanner, the chain wound round the axle and the spring was tensioned. Part of the wheel protruded into the small pan, the flash pan or priming pan, which contained the priming charge for touch hole. Now here a piece of iron pyrite was fixed in its jaw. Can you see this? This is the piece of iron pyrite, okay? And this is the serrated steel wheel. साइकिल चलाई है किसी ने? सबने ही चलाई होगी.
Yes, ma'am.
उसमें देखा है कि वो जो चैन होती है वो कैसे लगी होती है. सो इट इज द सेम इन दिस टाइप ऑफ फायर आर्म. दिस इज द पीस ऑफ आयरन पायराइट. फिर दिस लाइक दैट यू नो द स्प्रिंग एंड द serrated steel wheel was kept in tight contact. On pressing the trigger क्या होता था, जो बार होता था was withdrawn from the grooved wheel which then turned into axle. और उसकी वजह से when like देखा है ना साइकिल हम चलाते हैं तो वो घूमती है, वो जो चैन होती है वो खिंचती है और वो भी राउंड राउंड घूमती है, देखा है ना? So this same happens in this. So sparks are produced from friction of pyrite. जब वो ऐसे घूम रही है तो उसकी वजह से फ्रिक्शन हो रहा है. फ्रिक्शन जो होता है वो पायराइट ऑन serrated wheel ignited the priming charge. उससे जो प्राइमिंग चार्ज होता है वो इग्नाइट होता है, which in turn ignited the main powder charge and fired the weapon. समझ आया?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
इसे जो पीस ऑफ आयरन पायराइट है इसे हम फ्लिंट भी कहते हैं. और बेस्ड ऑन दिस थिंग हमारा दूसरा एडवांसमेंट आता है फायर आर्म में. देखो, आई सेड इट, इट इज वेरी फ्रेजाइल ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, वेरी एक्सपेंसिव टू मैन्युफैक्चर. देन कम्स फ्लिंट लॉक. ये फ्लिंट लॉक फायर आर्म्स भी आपको मिल जाएंगे DFS गांधीनगर में. Flintlock firearms, flintlock ignition appeared in late 1600 when the trigger is pulled. The hammer holding a piece of flint fell against a steel cover. अभी हमने जो previous वाले में देखा there was wheel lock, right? But now here there is no wheel. यहाँ पे directly ये flint जो है ये इस पे गिरेगा flash pan पे. ये ऊपर उठेगा when we will press the trigger, ये ऊपर उठेगा, ये flint इसके ऊपर गिरेगा और उसी से इग्निशन हो जाएगा. Here it is written, the trigger is pulled, the hammer holding the piece of flint fell against a steel cover. इस steel cover को we are calling it prism sitting over the priming pan. The hammer knocked the cover out of the way and the collision of flint and steel caused sparks that ignited the powder in the priming pan. The ignition system which succeeded that of wheel lock was a simple mechanism which provided a spark by striking a piece of flint against a steel plate. हमने जब trigger press किया, when we press the trigger, so what happens that the flint falls on that priming pan. and just because of that the ignition occurs, because there in that priming pan there is a priming charge. There is, everyone knows about, we are using primer for the ignition. So in that priming pan there is a priming charge, primer charge. So the steel, which is called as prison, was placed on another pivoting arm opposite to the cock, and the pan containing the priming compound was placed directly below the frizz. Here you can see this is called as the flash pan. This flint will fall on this and this will ignite. Okay, till here everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then comes the percussion lock. This percussion lock system is still going on. Okay, the percussion lock, also called as the cap lock, replaced the flint lock in early 1800s. Early percussion locks used priming compounds inside a metallic foil cap placed, इसके अंदर क्या है, priming compounds. When the hammer strikes the cap, the resulting spark ignites the main charge. The percussion cap also paved the way to the self-contained ammunition we have today, like cartridges and shot shells. Percussion cap ignition was developed in 1805 by Reverend John Froseth of England. Remember this name? This might be asked in UGC NET exam. So the compound is mercury fulminate. When struck by hammer, produced a flash strong enough to ignite the main charge of powder in the barrel. Thus, a separate priming powder and sparking system was now no longer required. अभी देखो, हम इसमें सीधा सीधा एक परकशन कैप है. हम इसके पहले क्या कर रहे थे, हम प्राइमर के लिए एक अलग से जगह बना रहे थे, राइट. इसमें जैसे परकशन कैप पे ये फॉल हुआ, हमारा हैमर जैसे परकशन कैप को जाके स्ट्रक हुआ, एंड इट विल इग्नाइट द मेन चार्ज. With this invention, the basis of self-contained cartridge was laid. Shaw employed a small iron cup into which was placed a small quantity of mercury fulminate. अच्छा, हम लोग अभी फायरआर्म में कौन सा कंपाउंड यूज करते हैं प्राइमर के लिए?
No idea.
No idea. Okay. So we are using mercury fulminate as the primer charge, which is used for ignition of powder charge, which is propellant. Here, this was placed over a small tube called a nipple projecting from rear of the barrel. This is percussion cap and this is flint. It will fall against this and it will struck to this, and then the priming charge will be getting ignited. The hammer striking the mercury fulminate in the cup caused it to detonate and so send a flame down to the nipple tube, igniting the main charge in the barrel. Is it clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, does anyone have any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, we are continuing it from here. Introduction. Then, here are firearms, types of firearm: rifle, revolver, pistol, and machine guns. Rifles, these firearms have much longer barrel and can fire high-powered ammunition. Rifles are characterized by their calibers. Calibers, what is caliber? And am I audible?
Ma'am, the internal surface.
Okay. The internal surface is the caliber. Okay. The rifled barrels are having lands and grooves. The grooves are cut form of spirals inside the bore. These turning is called twist, and and the angle turning is called pitch. The angle which is turning is called pitch, and the turning itself is called twist. The rifling in the barrel gives gyratory motion to the projectile, which continues even in flight. Rifles are usually identified by their calibers. Caliber diameter represented for rifled barrel firearms, which technically represented in inches or mm. We have seen that 7.65 caliber ka bullet. That is caliber of the bullet. 7.65 is the caliber of the bullet. Okay. Then comes revolvers. Revolver are rifled handguns. Revolver, why are we calling it rifled handgun? Because it consists of both lands and grooves. It has a revolving cylinders having chambers for loading the cartridges. The number of chambers may vary from 4 to 7. The revolvers have very short barrel and therefore effective only at the short ranges. We can't fire like in a very big range from a revolver. The barrel of the revolver, which has 6 lands and grooves and a left hand rifling twist, is known as cold type. We are talking about this in a like you will get this kind of questions in your UGC net exam. So this is from that perspective. If you are in your bachelor's right now, note it down that if the barrel of the revolver, if it has 6 lines and grooves, okay, and a left hand rifling twist, it will be known as Colt type. And if it has 5 lines and grooves and a right hand twist, it is known as Smith and Wesson type. Revolver can be both single and double action.
थोड़ी देर में छोड़ आऊंगा, बोल दो.
Then comes pistol. It is a short barrel rifled firearm which can be fired by one hand, and it is known as pistol. Pistol have magazine which is enclosed in its grip. Everyone knows about grip, right? From the
Yes.
place from where we are holding the pistol, that is the grip. Then these are available in calibers which is 5 to 12 mm. Pistols are normally semi-automatic and self-loader type, in which with the pull of trigger of a cartridge is fired. Pistols use detachable magazine which is located inside a grip, equipped in front of rear sights for aiming. Okay. Then comes machine guns. Machine gun is fully automatic firearm capable of continuously firing ammunition as long as ammunition is available. जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि जो मशीन गन्स होती है, इट हैज लाइक द कैपेसिटी टू फायर अनलिमिटेड. जब तक उसका एमिनेशन कंप्लीट खत्म नहीं होता, उसमें कार्ट्रिजेस है, इट विल फायर. Built to withstand high temperature generated during the rapid fire, because like when we are firing a firearm, जो pressure होता है, it is very very high. So machine guns are made up of metal. It is built in order to withstand high temperature which is generated during the rapid fire. These are effective for suppressive and sustained fire. Uses gas operated and recoil operated mechanism, generally effective at longer distances than handguns. Needs to be mounted because they are heavier than the rifle and pistol because they absorb recoil. If you guys don't know about recoil, it is the backward force. If you guys have heard that law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This recoil is based on this. You are pressing the firearms trigger, it will give you a backward jerk, from which you will be feeling that jerk in your in your arms. It might fracture your bones. That's why these machine guns needs to be mounted. Okay? Till here everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So for today I feel like this much is enough for all of you, because if I will teach more, ballistic is a type of subject that you won't be able to grasp it more. So should I end this class?
Yes, ma'am. At the time,
Priya,
if you have further any doubts, so you can ask.
if you didn't understood something, I'm okay if you guys will ask.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for this interesting, insightful session. And thank you to all participants. We will continue the remaining topic in tomorrow's session. So see you in
Yes.
next session. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you so much.